Hey, yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week. But before we get into this beautiful comic load, a couple things to talk about. First and foremost, as of today, this is May 6th, so that means it's Free Comic Book Day. So if you get an opportunity to go down to your local comic store or Newbury Comics or wherever you go to get comics, I recommend a local comic store. Nothing against Newbury Comics, but you want to support your comic store, so go pick up some free comics and go. Maybe they have some deals going on or some kind of promotion, and buy some other products, because that's really what you want to do is support the comic stores. I only got 3 comics. I got Secret Empire, I got Twilight Princess, and I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have not read them yet. I'm going to, no rush though, but I mean, there's no disadvantage to going out. You're going to get some free comics, you're going to enjoy yourself, have a good time, and hopefully you pick up some other stuff. I myself took advantage of one of the sales that was going on at my comic store. They were buying basically a trade graphic novel sale. You buy a graphic novel, you buy another one, you get a percentage off. You buy a third one, you get even more percentage off. So I got some new graphic novels I'm going to review for you guys in the future. Batman I Am Suicide, so the second volume of the Rebirth series. After that, we have Justice League Throne of Atlantis, third volume in the New 52 Justice League. And finally, Justice League Volume 4, which is The Grid. So it'll be good to go back and reread these stories, because it's been a while for at least these two. I read them originally in individual issue, which was years ago, and then this one it'll be nice to reread because it has some really good content in there, and this is where Batman Rebirth really starts to amp up. In addition to that, if you want to follow me on Instagram or on Twitter, you can just go down to the link below and click on that. I do a little bit more Instagram than Twitter, mostly because I feel like Instagram's a little bit easier to handle and a little bit more fun, but I mean, that's just me. And in addition to that, if you want to support me on Patreon, the link is down below. Just click on it. Any support that goes to Patreon goes to my channel, either bringing new content, either updating my software, either bringing new equipment in, or trying new things. So thank you to everyone that supported me so far. Because of your support, I've been able to get more comic loads in, so I can do this video more regularly. In addition to that, I can have more comics in there, like doing some more Marvel comics and doing some more trade reviews. But the big thing I'm aiming for is, once I get some more supporters, I want to get a new camera to update the camera, and I want to get some software so I can put like a little picture up here and all that fun jazz. So that's neither here nor there. We're going to go right into the comic reviews, and we're going to start where we always start, with just a little bit of Batman in our life, and we're going to do it with Batman issue number 22. This is the third part to the Button story that's going on, and as you can see, I got all the covers. I was able to get this nice little what is it called? I forget what this kind of cover is called, but you know, the image changes. I got the standard cover, I got the split cover, and then finally I got the Tim Sale cover. So I got all the covers in there. This issue continues the really interesting yet confusing story arc that's going on. I mean, it's not confusing, it's straightforward. Like, Batman and Flash are investigating the Button. They use a button, Eobard Thawne comes out. Then they use a treadmill, and they go through time. And now they're in Flashpoint, which apparently Flashpoint is still around. Whoever's manipulating the DC universe decided to keep that universe around. Dr. Manhattan. At least that's what everyone's guessing to do. What to not be Dr. Manhattan? What to be something stupid like Ambush Bug? But neither here nor there. The fact of the matter remains is the Flashpoint history still exists, so Batman gets an opportunity to meet his father in a very emotional meeting, which could have repercussions for Batman in the future, because this is the first legitimate time in continuity that he's been able to really reconnect with his parents. I mean, you could talk about Death in the Maidens, where he had that hallucination where he talked to his parents, but he's never really been able to talk to his dead parents. But here he gets to talk to Thomas Wayne, and Thomas Wayne gives him some sound advice. How Batman is going to address that is going to be interesting. But with that said, this is a pretty fast read. It is a fun comic, though. Despite the fact it doesn't add anything to the Button story, it's just like, hey Pop, hey son, and then emotional moment. It doesn't really forward the story that much. The only thing we really learn about this is Eobard Thawne, at some point in the timeline, is still alive, so we get to see him at the end. Really fun issue, really good. I'm enjoying this story, even though it's not really giving us much answers. It's only raising more questions. I mean, what answers did we really get? Nothing really. But really fun, and I'm interested to see where Batman's comic is going to go from here because of the discussion he had with his father. Moving on, we're going to Nightwing. Issue number 20. So this is finishing the Nightwing Must Die, or the Robin Must Die, or whatever Must Die you want to say. It's Nightwing Must Die. And basically it's the final showdown between him and Dr. Hurt. And that's really just half of this story, because there's a good chunk of the story towards the end that just kind of continues to have more relationship matters with Nightwing and more Titan stuff with Damian. So you get a lot of good stuff in here relationship-wise, whether it's with his girlfriend or with Damian. You get the answer to see if he's going to be a pops or not. I mean, I think we can all guess what the answer is going to be, but I'm not going to spoil anything. I really enjoyed this issue. I enjoy Dr. Hurt as a villain, and it's interesting to see how this kind of ties into the Rebirth stuff, because there's a lot of like alternate universe Nightwing shit going on. But and that dagger, like, how does this dagger have super continuity breaking power? It's kind of silly, but in saying that, really fun stuff. I'm glad they kind of leave it hanging with Dr. Hurt so he can come back. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Harley Quinn, issue number 19, finale to the Red Meat art, which has been one of the better Harley Quinn arcs in a while. Probably because the premise is good and it takes itself a little bit more seriously while still having the humor in there. It's Red Tool, and I like Red Tool. We also get the Paul Dini back up here, which is very Batman the Animated Series-like. So, I mean, on a whole, Harley Quinn is always fun. If you're a fan of Harley, you're going to enjoy this no matter what. If you're not a big fan of Harley, then, I mean, move on to something else. But Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner have been holding their own on this comic for, well, ever since it got introduced in New 52, and it's been great since. Bane Conquest, issue number 1 of 6. So I had to pick this up for two reasons, really. Number one is Bane is the main star of this. I mean, Bane is one of my favorite Batman villains of all time. But most importantly, I hope you guys look, there's a name down there, and I know it's kind of hard to see from a distance, but it says Dixon, as in Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon, if there was a Mount Rushmore of Batman, he would be on there, because Chuck Dixon is famous for really controlling the Batman universe during the 90s, with great Batman stories such as Batman Nightfall, Legacy, Contagion, as well as controlling the Nightwing comic when it first came out, the Robin comic when it first came out, the Batgirl comic, Cassandra Cain, when it first came out. This guy had his hands in everything, and he was fantastic at it, and no one knew Bane quite like him. This is kind of a return to form with Bane, maybe not so much physically, because, I mean, look, he's wearing the animated series mask, or a similar mask to it, rather than his traditional Bane mask, but this is a return to form for the character and how he approaches things. We get to see a lot of his allies in here, Bird and Zombie, and we really just get to see, and even the art, like, the art is very 90s reminiscent. I forget who the artist is. I think it's the same one that did Graham Knoll. I think he's the one that did the Swamp Thing art for the short, which, I mean, I guess he's been doing art for a while. I'm not too familiar with him, but yeah, this is really fun, good stuff. If you're a fan of Bane, pick it up, but only if you're a fan of Bane. I think if you're not a fan of Bane, then you may not enjoy it as much, but this is good Bane stuff. But if you want to talk about good stuff that you should be constantly picking up, let's talk about Deathstroke. Boy, oh boy, does shit get real in this. Deathstroke is basically at the wedding of his son, but if we remember, he kind of has been screwing his son's wife on the side, or girlfriend on the side, but she's really an evil agent for another person. We find out who she's working for in this. A lot of craziness goes on, and this has been one of the best runs of Deathstroke in a while. I'm not too keen on the costume, but putting the costume aside, I've been enjoying this run. I think better than any Deathstroke run so far. Better than Justin Jordan, better than Tony Daniels. Just it's been really good. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. XMen Gold. So again, we're continuing this first arc where we're dealing with the new Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and Kitty Pryde is working with her X-Men to try to find out exactly what's going on and who ultimately is the person behind all this. We got some answers, more answers than I thought we were going to get, as well as we get a few more questions on exactly what's going on. But it's a solid story through and through, and I feel as though this has been the most X-Men comic that we've had since, well, Wow, it feels like 90s X-Men. I'm enjoying it. Pick it up. A lot of good stuff this week. Superman issue number 22. Do you like the movie Hot Fuzz? Do you? Well, you got it right here. This is basically Hot Fuzz with Lois Lane. So if you like that movie, you're going to like this. This issue was just okay. If I had to give it anything, it'd be 3 out of 5. Although it's starting to dig deeper into the mystery of exactly what's going on. And we did get a reveal that Manchester Black is going to be the villain. Not in this issue, but in a preview. So I'm looking forward to that because I like Manchester Black. But yeah, on a whole, this is a pretty good issue. Not as good as the other stuff that I was reviewing this week. But I do think Action Comics is the stronger of the two stuff right now. But that's just me. So put that down. Aquaman issue number 22. This is concluding the H2 story arc, basically. Aquaman and Mera go to great depths, no pun intended, to defeat Deadwater. And while this is going on, we get a prelude to the next story arc. Some good action, good adventure, but I'm kind of happy that the story is over. Nothing against it. I know they were trying to go for an alien-like feel where you're claustrophobically trapped with a monster that you don't know and it could possess anything. Kind of like The Thing, but I mean, on a whole, and I like Deadwater. I like how they expanded on him, but I'm kind of glad that we're moving on. This was just an okay issue. Nothing to write home to, but still, if you're a fan of Aquaman, you're going to like it. Aquaman's going to go through some changes in the next few issues. They're going to give him his beard back and his long hair, and they're going to try to make him look a little Jason Momoa-ish without being ludicrously Jason Momoa-ish. But moving on, Cyborg, issue number 12. This issue was far better than the last issue. We got some good action. We get the Rat Lord return, but as a machine mechanized robot, and we're progressing the story a little bit more. And I think I'm starting to have this comic grow on me. Cyborg has been very hit and miss with his rebirth stuff. Which is sad because he's one of my favorite characters. But this issue was definitely better. It's not a good jumping on point though, but it does help out with the previous issues. I just hope the anomaly, the thing that's posing as Cyborg's father, I just want to kind of have that shit be done. I know there's a long-term game to this, but I just want some resolution. Next is Green Lantern's issue number 22. Now, this is a fun story. Jessica Cruz has not had any formal training yet, so she gets taken to Oa. And, well, as far as I know, neither does Simon Baz. He kind of has some training, but not really. He's working with the squirrel at one point. But basically, Simon and Jessica get 2 new teachers, and is exactly what you think it is. This is a fun story, and I think Green Lanterns is better for the fact that it is now dealing with the Green Lantern Corps as a whole, because you get to see them interact with the Green Lanterns a bit more. So I do thoroughly enjoy this, and I know it took 22 issues for it to happen, but good on them. Green Arrow, The Rise of Star City. Basically, it is exactly what you think with the last issue. We have all these evil players, the 4 horsemen of Star City, coming in, and Cheshire is one of them, and she's killed a bunch of people with that big plane crash. And now it's up to Ollie to kind of stop them and make sure that they don't cause any more trouble and stop this big secret society. And while he's doing this, he's kind of at odd ends with Black Canary and also with the Arrow family as a whole. With what could possibly be a kind of a shitty ending for one of the characters in this. In saying this, though, Green Arrow has been consistently one of the best, if not the best comic to come out of Rebirth. Not necessarily for continuity fixing things or returning characters to form, but rather blending everything nicely together. This is a fantastic mix of, well, let me just say this. If you like the new 52 Green Arrow, he's in here. If you like the TV show Green Arrow, he's in here. And if you like the old school fashion super liberal Green Arrow, he's in here. There's a little bit of Green Arrow in all this, and it works out perfectly. I really strongly recommend get on Green Arrow. Some really good writing, really good art, and just really good. And then Justice League, issue number 20. This is the Endless Part 1. We just got through Timeless, and Timeless was just such a mediocre story. Oh. So, nothing against Brian Hitch, but I was hoping for something more, and this story pans out a little bit better. Long story short, Flash is caught in a Groundhog Day-like situation. He keeps reliving the same day, but he's reliving it differently. And at the end of each day, Jessica Cruz dies, Green Lantern. So he needs to figure out exactly what's he going to do to fix this. And him and the Justice League find out the perpetrator or the cause of it, and it may not be who you think. On a whole, this was an okay story. I like the fact that Hitch is doing the art as well as the writing. I think it blends it a little bit better. I think it reads a little bit better that way. I'm ready for something that's not less, like timeless or endless. I'm waiting for something a little bit more. In saying that, it's an okay story and a good jumping on point. You can kind of skip all the Justice League stuff on Rebirth so far because it's just kind of been like meh so far, and just jump onto this. And it's probably safe to jump on here because we got regular Superman. We don't have Superman Blue. We don't have Superman Red. This is new Rebirth Superman. So, yeah. So with that said, those are the comics for this week. If I had to do a pick of the week, it's going to go to Batman issue number 22, was it? It's hard for me to keep up now. 22, yes. The Button story arc. That so far, that has been the best. And like I said, I recommend it. Is Free Comic Book Day. Go out there. It's not just about getting free comics. It's about supporting your comic shop. And your comic shops are most likely going to have some pretty darn good deals. So, I mean, if you're going to do it, then do it now. Because you're going to get some good stuff like I got out of it. I got 3 trades for pretty cheap. And the trades I've been looking to add to because I'm not buying... when it comes down to trades, I'm not buying everything. The only thing I'm really focusing on Batman and Justice League. And maybe Wonder Woman. But... yeah, I recommend going out and supporting your comic book store. So, with that said, I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.